Coming to you live from the White Picket Studios in Houston, Texas, this is the Realty Ruckus. If you are in any way, shape, or form involved in the real estate industry, this is the show for you. And now, your host, Alan Hernandez.
What's up, everyone? What's going on, Houston? Great to be back on the show. Great to be back in a regular time slot.
That's right.
Coming at people twice a week now for 30 minutes. Remember, we're on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And obviously, I am not Alan Hernandez. And no, don't freak out. I am not replacing Alan Hernandez. Alan will be back. He was on vacation mode. Yeah. And last week he went on vacation, went on a cruise with his family for the New Year's, and he's catching up this week. So he was like, hey, you guys take over Realty Ruckus, which he knows that means we're going to be having some nerd conversations.
That's right.
Talking about some nerd topics and really just letting people know about the digital space and just other things that Alan normally wouldn't talk about on the show. The first one, and we didn't even mention this on Tuesday's show, and I think it was just because the show felt so short when we did only 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But Roll Tide. Alabama won another national championship.
That's right. I was hoping Alan would be here, Manuel would be here, so we could kind of rib at him. I know Manuel's watching, so...
Manuel's watching.
He wanted to hate a little bit, so go on and hate a little bit in the comment section if you want to, Manuel, or anybody else watching.
And last night, I was at the NHPO event with Manuel, which was really amazing, man. They've got all sorts of elected officials that show up.
Really?
The mayor was there, and he was doing this huge presentation.
Was it out in Katy?
No, this was right here in downtown Houston at the aquarium.
Okay.
Yeah, so the mayor was there. He was giving this big presentation about the El Salvadorian crisis that's going on right now.
Yeah,
You're El Salvadorian. You're familiar with that. That he was saying that 100,000 El Salvadorians are going to be deported in the U.S., but in Houston alone, that's 20,000 people.
That's insane, man.
So we have 1/5 of all the people that are facing deportation now because of that. Now, I don't want to get into that. I just thought it was really amazing that they were able to get the mayor out to their event.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I didn't know that.
The chairman came up, apparently Manuel. Manuel knows everyone. I didn't know that. Manuel's like Mr. Popular out there.
Manuel.
The chairman comes up. He comes up and she comes up and she starts talking to us. And I say, hey, look, I got to know, how do you get all of these people to come out to your events? And believe it or not, she said, when you get big enough, they want to come to your events. They ask to come to your events.
Well, how big was the event, though?
Oh, man, there was a good 200 people there.
Oh, okay.
It was a solid event. So we can do it. Yeah, well, they have big membership, though. And I think that it's because it's focused towards the Hispanic community, because that's NHPOs, the Hispanic professionals.
Yeah, makes sense.
And so they're really focused towards that community.
Gotcha, okay. And so those elected officials want to come out.
Exactly. They want to come out and they want to schmooze and they want to make sure that everyone knows to vote for them. Yeah. But it was really awesome, man. They had a lot of good people there. And Manuel and I had a good conversation about Alabama. And we were talking about how amazing of a coach Nick Saban is.
Yes, he
is. The simple fact that this guy in the modern age has managed to win now 6 national championships with 2 different teams.
Yeah, 5 in the last 9 years.
Yeah, he's won 5 of the last 9. So he's over 50% in the last 9 years.
Yeah, so if you're a gambling man and you would have been betting on Nick Saban like for every year, you would have come out ahead.
Yeah, your money would have been completely safe. But it brings me to the topic that we're going to be really diving into. And we won't dive into it here in this segment. It's just more of an introduction. But in the second segment is focusing on what you know that you want to do and focusing on what you're good at.
Yeah.
And I think Nick Saban is an amazing example of that because he actually had an opportunity to coach at the highest level.
Yeah,
he got an opportunity to go to the NFL and coach NFL teams. And most people would say, that's crazy. Why would you ever take a step backwards and go back into college football? Now, another big-time coach who did that, John Harbaugh, did it too. He went into the NFL, and they had a little bit of a different position when they went into the NFL. Nick Saban did terrible in the NFL. Yeah. He was not a good coach. But John Harbaugh, he went all the way as far as to go play the Super Bowl. Yet both of them went back to what they know best, which is college football. They went back to what they do best, which is college football.
That's right.
And they find incredible success in that. And that really is the focus of today's show is stick to what you know best, stick to what you do best, stick to what is best in line with your plan so that you can find overall success like these guys, like the Nick Sabans of the world, like the Michael Jordans of the world, like the Michael Phelps. These are guys that stick to what they know best. They stay in their lane. And we're going to talk more about that, what that means for an entrepreneur. But you can't be good at anything unless you're constantly practicing that particular craft.
Yeah, and all of those guys, everyone you mentioned, they have that one thing in common. They're laser focused on that goal. And I mean, I think, you know, a lot of people hate on Nick Saban, but to me, there's a lot you could learn, even business-wise, because he runs an organization, and to see the discipline and the buy-in top-down in his program is just amazing, and it's all because of that focus and discipline he has and sticking to his guns.
Oh, absolutely. And what you have to remember is, as much as those players enjoy playing, if they didn't have that great coach guiding them, pushing them, and showing them this is the path, this is how you get to success, they wouldn't get there.
Yeah, without a doubt. And that you see that in everyday life, and how we're going to translate that into the entrepreneur in the second segment.
Yeah.
You know, it's really easy for the entrepreneur to get distracted or not be willing to hold themselves accountable or have somebody else hold them accountable.
And I think that's one of the biggest things, is that as entrepreneurs, we're alone a lot of the time.
Yeah.
You're out on your own. And so it's really hard when you're on your own to stay focused. It's really hard to remain laser sharp and looking in one direction only, and not just broad spanning out across everything, which is what a lot of entrepreneurs start to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I really want to get into, is how can you break those habits of going into every single direction? How can you really start to laser focus what you do and what your goals are? Because a lot of people, you ask them what their goals are, and then you see what they're doing, and they don't align at all. And you're like, wait a minute, your actions don't align with your goals. And they say, oh, because that's temporary. That I'll make it work out later. That part'll that's phase 2 or phase 3. I'm going, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense.
No, and you know
phase
what?
1's not aligned with phase 2.
We both have been highly guilty of those things as well. We've learned from the better. So this will be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, no, absolutely, guys. So when we get back from the break, we really want to start to dive into the entrepreneurial spirit, the entrepreneurial mind, and how an entrepreneur can start to find their focus and find a way to stay in their lane, not jump out at every small shiny object that comes around. So we'll be right back on the Realty Ruckus. This is David and Gibran. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
What do you love about White Picket?
I love that we work together as a team.
I love being professional while having fun.
I love the innovative approach we take every day.
I love the support we get to grow our business.
We love White Picket.
And I love empowering the next generation of realtors to live life by their own design. If you're looking to grow, come grow with us. Email join@teamwpr.com. Again, that's join@teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can find us live on Facebook and YouTube, where if you chat with us during the show, we can answer your questions live on the air. Now, we really want to dive today into the entrepreneurial spirit, into the entrepreneurial mindset, and start to talk about what it is, what it's going to take for an entrepreneur to be able to stay focused and stay in their lane. Because a lot of the times, when you're first getting started, you start because you have an idea.
Yeah.
And you've got this great idea of, oh, okay, I'm going to go into this industry and then I'm going to make money.
Okay.
And so you think of something like real estate investing. That's something that a lot of people, they say, ooh, flipping houses. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you go out and you start to try to find some education. And as you're finding education, you start finding all these different avenues that are actually real estate investing. You start realizing how encompassing that world can be. That it's not just, oh, flipping houses and that's it. Now you have flipping houses, or you have the guys that are buying notes.
Yeah.
And then you have some people that are only making money doing education. They're not even doing real estate investing.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute, I don't know where I actually fall. So you have to kind of sit down and start to come to terms with, what is it that I really want to do? What is it that my goal really is? And I think that's one of the first stopping points for a lot of entrepreneurs, is that they never even take that step. They get stuck in the education here, education there, and it never becomes focused for them. So that's why you run into people that you see at every single networking event.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about.
And Jason Bible actually wrote a great blog article about this, and it made me chuckle. I forgot what he called that person, but like basically the serial education attendee.
Yeah, person. And it's so true though. It's, you see them, you know who they are, and they know who they are. They're a lot of them aren't even ashamed to admit it. They understand that they are that person. They are the serial attendee networker, serial networker, I guess is what we can call them.
I guess so.
And it's that person that goes to every single event, is always getting more education, yet they never seem to take any action.
They don't execute.
And I think that a lot of that has to do with, and the vast majority of it is, that they don't really know what it is that they want to do. They're confused about what it is that they want to do, and therefore they don't take any action on it. So if you're an entrepreneur, the very first suggestion, the very first piece of advice that I can offer you is to lay out what your goal really is. Like if real estate investing was interesting to you, why? What about real estate investing was interesting to you? Is it the fact that you can make a lot of money? Because you can make a lot of money in any industry.
That's true.
You don't have to do real estate investing to make a lot of money.
I think a lot of people get lured in by the make lots of money without a lot of money.
Message
out there.
Well, and I think a lot of people get lured in by the make a lot of money without a lot of effort.
Yeah, I think that's a big one as well.
And they don't realize that real estate investing takes a lot of effort.
And I think once you get to that realization for any industry is when entrepreneurs start to get kind of distracted by the other forms of, oh, this is the way I can quickly make some money.
Oh, no, absolutely. And I think that's why people, a lot of the time, they say, well, I want to get started with wholesaling. I want to make some money really, really quickly.
Yep. I run into this often.
And I say, okay, that's great. So you want to create some cash flow from the wholesaling. Let's focus your wholesale marketing on the type of properties that you would actually want to buy.
Exactly. Why
Start
not?
looking at homes that you would actually be interested in if you were going to buy and hold, or if you were going to flip. And then I see those same people going out and start door knocking on the entire foreclosure list. And I'm going, I just don't get it. You're falling out of that lane. You're falling out of that space from what you should be doing, and you're not going to find any success that way. It's going to be incredibly frustrating because you're going to be spinning your wheels over and over and over. And every now and then, you'll pull the wheel on the jackpot and you'll hit.
Yeah.
And you'll make some money. And then you'll think, well, I made some money. I must be doing something right. And you'll keep doing those same activities over and over and over, despite the fact that they're not actually producing for you most of the time. And then you see those people start looking at the other avenues.
Yep.
Well, what else can I do? Well, let me look. Somebody JV with me. I'll bring the money. Somebody JV with me. And I see that all the time. It's like, okay, well, you could see the deal flow must be slowing down. And now they're asking for people to JV with them. And then you see them going to the other avenues. Well, I'm not getting any deals. Let me go teach people how to get deals. And that's another avenue. And you start guiding yourself off, and you forget why you even got into real estate investing to begin with. And next thing you know, you're a guru teaching people
cryptocurrency.
And yeah, you're teaching them cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and you're like, you should totally invest in Bitcoin. And it's like, wait a minute, weren't you a real estate investor like a week ago? Yeah. And it's the same people. As you've got to find a way to stay in your lane as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot lately in the Houston community I guess the people that are actually buying, picking up houses, they're starting to call out these other some people refer to them as Facebookpreneurs.
Oh yes, the Ty Lopez of the world. It's what's the next big scheme that I can get a lot of people to sign up for to make a big return with as little effort as possible.
So where do you think these people go wrong, and why do they fall into this trap time after time?
Well, look, there's nothing wrong with the Ty Lopez of the world. That guy makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of money. He convinces a lot of people on his systems. And I can tell you, his systems, half of the stuff that he says he's making up. I watched a video the other day of him on Facebook, and he was talking about Bill Gates. And he was talking about how Bill Gates programmed MS-DOS. He sat in some hotel room programming MS-DOS. And I was like, no, Ty, that's completely inaccurate. Yeah. Bill Gates bought MS-DOS. Yeah. It was already complete. He had nothing to do with the programming of it. So it's all made up, what he's saying. But people are following it. So there's nothing wrong with what he's doing. But I'll tell you why. Because he's focused and he knows what he's doing. Yeah. He knows my job, what I'm working on here is to get people convinced that I know what I'm talking about, so that then I can sell my products and services to them.
He's looking for all those distracted suckers we're talking about.
He is. He's looking for the people that just want to make a quick buck, that want to make a quick bang, that aren't focused, that aren't really looking to do something with their lives. They're just looking to make the quick money. And so that you can find in anywhere. So what I urge entrepreneurs is, don't only chase dollars, because if you're only chasing dollars, the next shiny thing that looks like it may make more dollars is going to distract you. And the thing is, when you go into a new industry, you're starting all over. You have to get the whole ramp up phase going again. It's like you go from, okay, I'm flipping houses, and we've done this. Me and Alan, as a company, we used to flip a lot of houses. Yeah. We don't flip as many houses as a company anymore. We started building a brokerage. Yeah. And when we did that, we saw that ramp up period all over again. It was, we went from here, and then we had to start back from the bottom and crank it back up.
And there was a time here when I was with a company too, where we were kind of like, looking around, focusing on several different things. And it's not until we actually became laser focused and really actually sat down and said, okay, guys, what is our actual vision? What do we stand for? What do we want to work for? I remember laying all those things down, and from that moment forward is when really this massive growth for our company started taking place, once that laser focus fell in.
Absolutely. And that all comes down to, if you want to make money, all you have to do, you can make money in anything. There's literally a million different industries that you could go out to start making money in. But you have to be good at whatever industry that you're in. So that's going to require you to really focus in on that thing. Yeah. And to know, I may not make a ton right away.
Yeah, you have to literally start putting one foot in front of the other, not looking back, not stopping until you make it. Because that's where a lot of people go wrong. They start taking the steps, and then it's almost like, when you start working out for the new year again, and you start running around, and then eventually you start telling yourself, well, I'm tired enough now, and that's good enough. and you just kind of get tired of doing the steps. But if you continue to do that day in, day out, eventually, you'll have a nice fit body.
Absolutely. Or you can go try to find the easy ways to do it. And I've known people, they go and they get liposuction, or they go and they go get plastic surgery instead of doing it the actual hard way. Yeah. And then their liposuction runs out real quickly. Like a year after they get it, they're right back where they started. Yeah. Or they'll get surgery, and then a year later they look weird now because they got some nice implants and like butt implants and things like that instead of working out, and then they're getting fat around it, and you're like, hey, wait a minute, that didn't work out. That was a bad idea. Yeah. It's when you look for the easiest way to do something, the path of I don't want to say the path of least resistance, because you should travel the path of least resistance. But when you're going like this around, you're no longer traveling the path of least resistance. You're starting to bounce around with too many different things, looking for too many different avenues to make things easy, and you're never going to find success that way. You're going to continue to always bounce around, and it gets frustrating.
It does. And I think it's a lesson that a lot of us here have learned lately. It's that it doesn't, it really doesn't even come down to talent or catching on to the next thing at the right time. If you look at these people that have been ultra successful, they all have that same thing in common, that they stayed focused and that they broke down their goals into tiny little goals.
Manageable chunks. Yeah.
And
they break
just kept
it down.
chipping away slowly, but they never, ever stopped.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, I'm reading Peter Thiel's book, 0 to 1.
Yeah, you've been talking about this book a lot.
Oh, it's amazing. It's a really short book, too. Out of all of the books that I've read, it's one of the shorter ones. But it's just very well laid out logically. It makes a very strong logical argument for why the things that we do are very counterintuitive to the way that they should be done.
Okay.
And one of the things that he talks about, he breaks down guys like Steve Jobs. And he says, look, you have a guy like Steve Jobs, and you could say, great, Steve, you got lucky. You were there on the forefront of computers. You just happened to be the company that did it first. And that's what a lot of people say. Google too. Yeah. You got lucky, Google. You were just happened to be the first company that did that. And the point that Peter Thiel makes is that's ridiculous, because Steve Jobs went on to found 2 other billion-dollar companies when he was not with Apple, and then went back, pulled Apple out of bankruptcy, and made him a billion-dollar company again.
Exactly. You don't do that 4 times. Like 4 times luck. I mean, how many 4-leaf clovers does that guy have?
Exactly. He built him up to billion-dollar company, left. They went into bankruptcy. He built 2 other billion-dollar companies, Next and Pixar, and then went back to Apple, saved them out of bankruptcy, and made them and became a billionaire again. And this is somebody who's doing it over and over and over. And he says, that's not luck. You can't attribute that to luck. That's him being so focused on what he knows he wants to build, on what he knows he wants to do, that you can't shake him. You can't shake the world that he's on. And he's going to keep pushing forward. And you're not going, you can say, Steve, what do you think about doing this? And if that's not in his plan, he's not going to do it. Even if it sounds like it could be a great idea, he has his plan. He knows what he's working towards, and he knows what he's going to do and not do.
Gotcha. Well, I want to hear more about this book on the other side of the break. I know we also have to cover some events.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll be right back right after the break. You're on the Realty Ruckus. We'll see you on the other side.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
What do you love about White Picket?
I love that we work together as a team.
I love being professional while having fun.
I love the innovative approach we take every day.
I love the support we get to grow our business.
We love White Picket.
And I love empowering the next generation of realtors to live life by their own design. If you're looking to grow, come grow with us. Email join@teamwpr.com. Again, that's join@teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can find us live on Facebook and YouTube, where if you chat with us live during the show, we can answer your questions live on the air. Now, before we went to break, we were talking about really good examples of how you stay in your lane, how you can be a successful entrepreneur, but you have to have a vision for what it is that you want to achieve, a vision for what it is that you want to accomplish. If you want to be a great real estate investor, what does that really mean? Where are you going to be investing? What's going to be your niche that you get started in, and how do you expand from there? And that's one of the big points that he makes in that book, is that Apple.
And what book is that again?
It's called 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel.
Okay.
And now, for those of you who don't know who Peter Thiel is, he is the co-founder, or he's the actual founder of PayPal.
Yeah.
And PayPal merged with X.com which was another online banking service, that was Elon Musk's company, and it became one central company called PayPal.
Yeah.
And so then Peter Thiel and Elon Musk co-ran the company until they kicked Elon Musk out. And then Peter Thiel ran it until they kicked Peter Thiel out, and then Elon Musk ran it again. So it's kind of an interesting story there. They don't get into that in that book. If you want to learn more about that, I recommend that you read the Elon Musk autobiography, not the autobiography, the biography of Elon Musk. It'll give you a lot more information about that. But in the book, Peter Thiel talks about how Apple, one of the big reasons why they were so successful at the time was that they were very, very focused on only building computers for personal use. They were not focused. They had zero attention on mainframes, zero attention on business use. They wanted to get a computer in front of every single human that was out there.
They wanted to make it easy and fun to use. And with different consumer choices. I remember, all those super cool
the different colors on the iMacs and things like that.
Cool laptops. Everything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And he talks about how Xerox went to Apple and they basically said, we want you to start designing computers for us as a business purpose. And this was a huge contract that Apple could have taken. And they said, no, we're not interested. We're building personal computers. We're not building mainframes. We're not building computers for business use. Wow. If you want that, go to IBM. That's what IBM does. But that's not who we are. And he talks about Google. And he says, why has Google been so successful? It wasn't that they were just the first search engine. They weren't even close to being the first search engine. There was several before them. But what made them so great? And he talks about how they truly focused only on their search algorithm. We're going to be the best search engine above and beyond everybody else. And at the time, you had Yahoo and Ask Jeeves competing to be the best search engine too. But Yahoo was also looking around going,
they were doing everything.
What other companies can I buy? That's where Mark Cuban became a billionaire. Everyone thinks that Mark Cuban became a billionaire from different things. No, he sold his company to Yahoo for just a crazy amount of money. I believe it was like 6 to 10 billion. Right? Yeah. Not even a year afterwards, they quit using his company. But he talks about that, how Yahoo has been almost a failure in the tech industry, even though they're really big and they make money and they're producing.
But no one really knows what the hell Yahoo does.
Exactly. And that's why he says that Yahoo is unable to actually monopolize an industry because they don't have a niche. They don't have that one thing that they really focus on. So, for example, going back to real estate investing or a realtor, I don't believe in like the area expert, right? But I do believe that you can corner a market and take that market share and monopolize an area.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the area expert, but you can monopolize that area and make that your niche. So, for example, we have one guy in our office. I won't name his name because I don't want to put his business out there. But he likes to invest a lot in the North Side in Houston, the North Side district that's evolving right now. Yeah. And he sat down with us to have a conversation about how do I get my business to the next level. And the first thing we said was, you got to focus. Where are you going to put your investment efforts? And what are you going to do to set yourself apart as the best investor in that area? How are you going to have everyone in that little niche market know that you, above anyone else, are the best? And that's how you start to build a significant business that starts to grow legs and grow branding, is through that process. See, Yahoo, they're branded well. We know the name. That's about it, though.
That's it.
What is Yahoo well known for? Well, their search engine kind of sucks. I don't think I've ever searched through Yahoo, actually. You go on their website, they've got news, but I can also go on CNN, CNBC, I can Breitbart, whatever kind of news source I want. I can go to a different news source and get it. But they're unfocused. And if you look at Google, they've been a little unfocused for the last few years.
And
they don't know.
They've caught some flack for it.
They've caught some flack for it. And in the book, he talks about how ridiculous it was that Google, Microsoft, and Apple all try to compete for the mobile operating system space. And they basically murdered each other over it. And Apple stepped up and said, well, that's all we're going to focus on is the operating system. You guys can focus on all the bells and whistles. We're going to focus on the operating system. And guess what? Apple took a huge market share of the mobile operating system, while Google and Microsoft slaughtered each other and didn't come out with anything of value to the consumer. So if you're out there, you're an entrepreneur, the big message here is keep your focus on what you're best at. focus on what it is that you truly want to do and keep your mind there. Don't get shiny object syndrome, and don't go out and say, I'm a real estate investor, but come buy some cryptocurrency with me.
And if you want to help improve your focus and get all this amazing training that us and other White Picket agents have gone through, you're going to have a chance to find out a little bit more about that for the Team WPR Discovery Day. Now, this is going to be up in the Lake Houston area at Perry Homes in the Groves in Atascocita from 4 to 6 p.m. on January 18th. You can find this event on the White Picket Realty page. And then also, I wanted to announce again that we're going to restart our happy hour at St. Arnold's. It's going to be rebranded as the Real Estate Rally, and we're expecting over 350 people. Again, it's going to be a great time with tons of real estate professionals from the greater Houston area attending. Again, that's going to be February 13th, and that's going to be the second Tuesday of every other month. First one is February 13th. I hope to see you there from 6 to 9, and I hope to catch you on the next Ruckus next week on Tuesday.
Yeah, guys, that's it. These are 30-minute long episodes. They feel like they go by so fast, and they really do. But we'll be back again next Tuesday, 1:30 to 2 o'clock. Make sure to keep up your ruckus. We'll see you then. Take care.
Catch y'all next one.
This has been the Realty Ruckus. Make sure and join us every Tuesday and Friday for new episodes. Find us on YouTube and Facebook for replays of previous episodes. And as always, keep elevating yourself and keep up your ruckus. Thanks for listening. Realty Ruckus has been brought to you by Smart Pig Media Productions.